Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So if you haven't already watched my last video, which was my first video, please do go and watch that because it was litty committee first of all, and it was controversial. But yeah, go watch that. And as you can see by the title, we are going to be talking about something completely different, but I'm sure you lot will be engaged. Yeah, so let's get started. So as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about Dollhouse. Now, if you don't know about Dollhouse already, Dollhouse London, it is a black owned company, which is a hair salon based in North London. So I'm going to give you the tea, okay? I was working in Dollhouse for quite a while actually, maybe like a year or 2 years, something like that. Probably 2 years. And let me tell you something, I hated it. Don't get me wrong, it was great at the beginning, but then I just ended up hating it, and I'll tell you the 4 reasons why I just didn't fuck with it. So number 1, we had a schedule which we had to stick to, which was we did a client at 10, 1 and 4. If you do your hair often, you know that hair takes 3 hours. Most appointments are 3 hours long, especially if it's a lace frontal wig. 10, 1 and 4. Where was the break? Where was it? We didn't have one. That's why we had to eat in between clients. If we don't, it's 7 o'clock that we're eating. Don't you think that's mad? That was one reason as to why I hated it. And you would think that I lost weight. No, I fucking put that weight on. I thought they said intermittent fasting is when you lose the weight. Was that not intermittent fasting? Number 2, the reason why I didn't like it is because of the pressure, the bloody pressure. The pressure. If you lot know about Dollhouse London, you knew that we was like that. There was a time when we was like that. So it was a lot, and especially because they always employ people that are growing stylists, people that are trainee stylists, so that we can perfect our craft and grow within the business. And do you think that I was used to that type of pressure? Do you think so? I used to work in Gatwick on check-in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's pressure, but three customers, 9 hours with no break. And if there was a cancellation, there's always one to go in that slot, you know? There's always one to go in that slot. Mate, I dreaded it. Every single day, I'll just think, oh my days. Even when I got a cancellation, I was happy, over the moon, because I was just thinking, yes. But then they'll put somebody else inside or an influencer inside, which takes me to my next point. These influencers. And it's not the fact of I didn't like doing influencer hair. It's not even the fact of that. I liked certain influencers. I did Patricia Bright's hair. Who else did I do? Sandra Lambeck. Who else? Letitia. Sophie from Geordie Shore. I did quite a few that I liked. But the one thing that I didn't like about these influencers, yeah, is that you'll give them a time. I remember I told you 10, 1 and 4. I'll give you 1, you come at 2. I'm not doing your hair because that's going to run into my next client. I'm not doing your hair. Do you know what I mean? So when people say, oh, they used to put influencers before them and new customers or customers, that is a lie. That is actually a lie, because if they was to come late and past their appointment date, they're not getting their hair done. Do you know what I mean? They was not getting their hair done. Like legit. So that was false, yeah? Number 3, was that number 3? Yeah, that was number 3. Number 4, no organization in that place. That place had no organization. Sometimes 2 people would be booked in the same slot. Sometimes this, sometimes, I'm not even gonna get into it, but sometimes it was just crazy. Like, and the thing is as well, and sometimes, like, for example, we'll book a day off, or we'll book a certain hour off. Why do I have a client in that slot? Because I'm not doing it. 100% I'm not doing it. I told you prior that I can't make that date, that I can't make that hour, and you still booked me in. Can we just have a minute of silence? Because how does one get booked into something that they agreed to that they're not going to do? How does that make sense? Anyway, the things that I will say is that, 1, influencers were not given priority. If we had booked them in and that was a scheduled thing, they're given priority. However, they were never given a priority, especially with the stylists. Forget about the managers. The stylists never gave them priority. If you're fucking up my mojo, you're not getting your hair done. That's just what it was. Or you're gonna have to wait for me to do my client and then you can get your hair done. Do you know what I mean? So that was never ever the case. Number 2, what I will say about organizational skills, if you're a growing business and your business zooms like that, as in like that, in a click, you're getting bare clients, bare people ordering hair, you're gonna mess up. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're gonna mess up. Do you think that you're Superman? Do you think that you can do it by yourself? Do you think that you're gonna be perfect from the get-go? No, you're not. Sorry, you're not. So when I say they didn't have any organizational skills, it's because the rapid growth that they were receiving is hard to maintain when you've been doing things a certain way. You're gonna have to change up your whole routine. Do you know what I mean? Your whole regime. So in that sense, I can understand. Another thing was, I think everybody deals with pressure and pressure in different ways, because I'm not gonna lie to you, there was people that were moving a bit mad in that place, and I felt like he was moving mad. And the thing is, you can't move mad to me because I just don't tolerate it. Do you know what I mean? So when you say one thing, it goes out the other, and I'll tell you about yourself, then we move on the next day. Do you know what I mean? That's what happened in that place. However, what I will say is that that place taught me a lot. I would never ever say that that place was a shithole, because it wasn't. The rapid growth that I received, I perfected my craft. I was being given opportunities to, you know, work with people that I would never work with on a daily basis. Patricia Bright, Sophie, Charlotte Dorsey. All these people that even if I didn't do their hair, I came in contact with. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't just get that on a normal day. And before everyone else was doing it, we were the only people doing it. Do you know what I mean? So that was another great thing. Obviously, as I said before, it made me grow, like, my craft. My craft is like, I'm always learning every day, but because I was doing everybody, like, I never had a time just to stop. I was perfecting it, trying this. So that is what I appreciated. And third of all, every business is gonna have its ups and downs. Every business is gonna have to learn from what they did last year to not do it again next year. There's always gonna be things you need to learn. Do you know what I mean? Even when you go to school and you get a D and then you have to retake it, you're gonna try and get a C, isn't it? But if you get that D again, you know to go back and go and learn more, because you need to get that C. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So there's never gonna be a time, especially when you didn't come from business, you didn't go to school for business, you're not going to get everything like that. Do you get it? What I will say as well is that Dollhouse was one of the first salons to be able to open and give black people a chance at doing hairstyles like, for example, the Americans were doing. Do you know what I mean? Radiant Salon, Dollhouse. Those were the 2 salons that became a frontal salon, you know, modern salon, you know, trendy salon. Do you know what I mean? So You cannot take away someone's credit when they've been doing that. Do you know what I mean? You cannot do that, first of all. Second of all of us that, you know, our parents are AF, yeah, and they were telling us to be doctors and lawyers and engineers and this and that and the third, architecture. Places like Radiant Salon, Dollhouse, they opened the door for us to be able to think outside the box and be like, do you know what? We can actually do hair and bust from it. Do you know what I mean? So all the hairstylists and all the people that you can choose from nowadays, give thanks to those that were before you, okay? All right? Okay. The second one as well was that, do you think, okay, let me just ask you this, because clearly everyone's just getting it twisted. See all these internet trolls and all these people that like to shame and name and drag people on Twitter, drag people on Instagram, drag people on any socials that you have, yeah? Do you think that you, if you had a business, would you like that being done to you? Do you think that when you start your business, you're going to be perfect like that? Do you think that you're not going to make no mistakes? Because if you think that, you are capping, and you're capping hard. Let me tell you that. You're capping so hard, it's unbelievable, because you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna do things that people don't like. All you need to do is make sure if you have a complaint or if you have something that you're not happy about, you take it to the person involved privately and confidentially, okay? Okay, because if it was you, you wouldn't like it. And don't say that you wouldn't make no mistakes, because you don't know. You ain't got your own business. Or if you do have your own business, you ain't got there yet to know if people fuck with you or not. So what I will say is that stop, in general, apart from Dollhouse, yeah, stop dragging people, because you don't know how hard they're working. Maybe their workload is too crazy for them. Do you know what I mean? They have to employ someone, but then they can't trust someone to do it. Bro, like, you need to think about everything. And if you have an issue with someone or their business, talk to them about it. Do you know how many people we could have avoided complaining, especially in Dollhouse, if you actually voiced it while she was in the chair? While she was in the chair, you could have said your complaint or said what you wanted me to change, and I would have been changed it. You don't go home, sit down, and then think, I paid £165. I want my money back. Oh, let me just drag them on Twitter. It doesn't work like that, guys. It actually doesn't work like that. Have some compassion. Like, think about a business person. Think about where they're coming from. And remember, as well, let me just speak for the Black-owned hair industry as well, yeah? We've all come from somewhere. We all started something somehow. Was we the greatest? No. Was we perfect at our craft? No. So let's just take this on board. Do you know what I mean? All the customers that now have a variation of stylists to choose from, just know they started from somewhere. Do you get it? And they're still going somewhere. So on that path to going somewhere, don't be dragging people. Do not be dragging people. Do you know what I mean? All these things I've learned. So my experience in Dollhouse has made me understand that business is a cruel world. Yeah, you need to be very organized, you need to be very on point, you need to stand your ground. There's so many things that you need to do to make sure no one takes you for idiot. Do you understand? First of all, and second of all, you need to be very, very professional. So all I'm saying is, although I hated working there, it was a very, very, very good experience for me, because I loved doing hair. I perfected my craft. I'm still perfecting it. I worked with some crazy people in the industry, like, I'm gonna keep on saying this, Patricia Bright. Like, it was a good experience. It was a good experience. Do you know what I mean? And I would never drag them for it. I respect it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I might not like fuck with it the way I used to, but I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. And everyone that's hustling and grinding, whether it be a hair business, this business, that business, you all start from somewhere. Anyway, that was all from me today, but my next video, I'm going to be doing Black-owned companies that I fuck with, and they're going to be in different sections of the industry. So it's like, I'm going to be doing hair, maybe cars, bakery, you know. I'm going to give you lot the plugs. Like, when I say the plugs, I'm not capping. The plugs, do you get it? I had to say, do you get it? But you know, in my last video I said, do you get it too much, so now I have to dim it down small. But do you get it though? I'm going to be plugging you, so you need to watch that next video, because the plugs that I'm coming with, you lot are gonna fuck with heavy. Do you get it? Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. I love constructive criticism, so please let me know what you did like and what you didn't like of this video, and then we're gonna move on to the next video. And then I've got a few in the works that I know are going to bang, so stay tuned. Feel me? Yeah.